Hello everybody, this is Jay, or as Nell calls me, Big Daddy, with Hillbilly Hoedown Group and Nell's Old Fashioned Recipes. This afternoon I went hunting with a .22 caliber air rifle, and because of the raining on and off, I only got to take one adult female squirrel. I've been asked several times on how you prepare or clean a squirrel, so this video is going to show you how. What you're going to need is a plastic bag where that's all your waste, a sharp knife. I prefer a Spyderco or one of the older hen and rooster, fighting rooster, or a Boker or Tree brand type knives. But anyway, you want one that's good and sharp. Of course, I'm using a cutting board and a small cleaver. Alright, we'll get this ready. Okay, here's the adult female squirrel. Of course, it was a single shot right through the shoulder. Of course, it was a quick kill. Anyway, okay, in order to clean the squirrel, you're going to have to make an incision through, of course, the skin or the fur, the exodermis, which is a layer underneath the fur, and then the endodermis. So, I'm going to take my knife, and you want to start at the neck or right behind the ears. You're going to go down the backbone, and you want to do it for about maybe 3 or 4 inches. So I'm going to take this right down to about the middle of the back, and what I'm going to do is see if I can separate it. There's part of the cut right there. I'm going to go between the shoulders, and I'm going to just kind of cut through. I really don't want to get into the meat. I just actually want to get through the skin. And there's the exodermis, and I don't know how well you can see that. Of course, the sun's going down, but you can see the meat. I'm going to go on and take my knife. I'm going to go on and bring it on up. Okay, a little bit better there. Now, I made one incision. Now I'm going to go down again. I'm going to try not to get into the meat. That's why you want to try to stay centered over the backbone. Okay, there we go. Now, a lot of people ask about wild taste. What do you do to meat to get the wild taste out? Well, the simple solution to that is to make sure there's nothing silvery on the meat. If you look right here, you can see it's not actually silvery right through here, but that part will give you your wild game taste. So we're going to take, and we're just going to make just another little slice. Now, squirrel actually is not that difficult to clean. Remember the old saying when you were a kid, skin a rabbit? Well, same way you're going to do with skin a squirrel. What you're going to do is just work your thumbs. Of course, this bloody part right here is where the pellet actually entered the shoulder, and you're just going to work the fur, the endodermis. This is the shoulder blade, right down and right underneath the arm. Okay, just like you would do your child about skin a rabbit, you're going to do the same thing with the squirrel. Now, let me go on and get this side. Of course, I'm putting my thumb right over the shoulder blade. I'm just going to work this down, work this around. Now we're going to make an incision here in a minute on around the neck. But first, we want to just work around that arm. Of course, there's the elbow, so to speak. Oh, I'll be darned. It almost come out the other side. There's the pellet. Can you see the pellet there? Now again, if you look real close, you can see the silver part, but that's coming out with the endodermis. Now I'm taking it all the way down to the knuckle. I'm going to go back around over here on this side, and I'm going to work its arm right out of there, just like a child with a shirt, long sleeve shirt. What I'm trying to do is actually stick my thumb underneath or the other side of the elbow. That way I can get a hold of the skin and the fur and pull it on down. Yep. I'm going to pull it right down to the wrist. Okay. Now, since I've got that part of it done, now I'm going to work up here around the neck. I'm going to try to work this right on around. I'm going to work this part right on around the neck. Well, can you get that camera there just a little bit? Okay, now you can see a hole that I've created all the way around the neck. Now at this point, we're going to take our knife and we're going to cut that fur. We're not actually cutting the squirrel's throat, we're just removing the fur right out there in front of it. Now, I pulled the fur right off the hand, and now we got the top part of the squirrel done. Now, throw that pellet off over here. There's my knife. We're actually not going to need it for much anymore. Okay, with my left hand, I'm actually grabbing the squirrel and squeezing it around the shoulders, making sure that I don't get into the stomach area and burst any of the internal organs. And all I'm going to do is just skin a rabbit, so to speak, working the skin right on down. Yeah, I split it off right there. But that's alright. Now what I'm doing is grabbing up here just above the hips, and I'm going to work this skin right on down to the base of the rear end, the top of the tail. Now you don't want to gut the squirrel, so to speak, not at this time. Now this squirrel is a female, adult female squirrel, so she has a few additional parts that we actually don't want to squeeze, and that kind of makes them a little bit tougher anyway. But as you see right here, I'm pulling, and this right here is fatty tissue and milk glands. If you look, you can see a little ripple right in there. Okay, now I've got her pulled her fur down almost to her knee joint. That right there is the knee joint. What I'm going to do is I'm going to work it on the inside of the leg down as far as I can get it. I'm going to do the same over here. Just as far as I can get it. And I'm going to try to make me a little hole. That way I can get behind her knee, so to speak, and then I'm going to pull this all the way down, and I'm going to leave this connected right now to the feet until I get this side done. Have you ever been driving down the road and you've seen them squirrel tails hanging on the antennas of people's automobiles and trucks?